Welcome voters, Brother Brown here. The new set is only 2 weeks away, which means the BT11 pre-release is just this weekend. And with that, we have the event, which we're going to open 6 packs of the brand new set and construct a deck with our polls. Now for newcomers, it might be a little bit challenging to just grab a bunch of mix match of cards and build a deck in such a short period of time. So today, we're just going to go through a couple cards in the set to make it a little easier on your decision on what to run. So let's jump right into it. So BT11 and the way this set works is a lot of the cards get extra effects or interact with your tamers in whether you have them on field or when you play them. So the way you build is going to depend on the ratio that you pull them in, and they're pretty easy to get. They are rare, so I'm pretty sure you will be getting a decent ratio of these ones. So I picked out the 4 best ones, I think, for the set. So let's go over them. So for red, we have Akiho, which reads, on play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, and then you get to add 1 red Digimon with vaccine as its traits among them, and then place the rest at the bottom. And then it has a secondary effect. When you play a red Digimon with bird, avian, beast, 4 sovereigns, or animal, you can suspend it to gain rush. Now that second effect, it may not come up very often, but a card that just lets you play and search is always really good, and pretty much any red Digimon in this set is a vaccine. So if you pull a red Digimon, chances are you're probably going to be able to add it, so it's quite nice, and the rush can come up once in a while. For the blue tamer, this is Nikolai, and his effect is during your main phase, your Gaomons and Gaiamons, I butchered that name, my mistake, in their name gains jamming until the end of the turn. So this is all going to depend very specifically on if you pull a good ratio of these cards. But the second effect is when a card adds a card to your opponent's hand, by suspend his tamer, you gain 1 memory. This can come up once in a while as well, but it's all going to depend if you pull a decent amount of Gaia and Gaiosmons. Getting jamming is quite nice. You know, surviving bodies in this kind of format can definitely help you outpace your opponent and do extra damage. That's the name of the game here. Pretty good. For the black tamer, we have Yuya, which more or less you're going to be running this just as a memory setter because it does set you to 3. But your effect, his secondary effect, when you digivolve into a Greymon, you can spend this tamer to gain 2000 DP, which there are a few cards you may want to run. Obviously, this set has the brand new X-Antibody Black War Greymon support. Some of those cards, they're a little high cost to digivolve. Of course, the X-Antibody Black War Greymon is a high rarity, so it may not come up, but there are a few cards where this does synergize. It may come up. Now, in my opinion, the best tamer, Taiga. Now, first of all turns, your Digimon just get 1000 DP. That doesn't matter what color, doesn't matter the level, just 1000 DP. So it's gonna be good no matter what time where you play it. And then it has the secondary effect. When one of your green Digimon would digivolve into a level 5 or higher, you can suspend this tamer to reduce the cost. Now, you may be thinking, well, how does that matter in a sealed format? I can't control what I get. Well, because of the rulings, as long as you have a level 4 green Digimon, you can digivolve it into any color level 5 because colors don't matter when it comes to digivolutions per the rules of the pre-release. And this will also work for your level 5 greens as well. So as long as you have a level 4 green Digimon or level 5, you can say digivolve it into a purple level 5 or a red level 6. It doesn't matter, so it's really nice to help you just build up really quick and just ramp up over your opponent. So moving on now to the level 3s, the first one I got here is the Agumon X Antibody. Now, while this is a higher cost to play, the reason why I put this guy here is because, more or less, it can digivolve over an Agumon at a 0 cost, so you can get an extra draw for digivolving, which is really nice. And the reveal to add a Greymon or a Black Tamer can come up as well. And it does synergize actually quite well with the Agumon in the set, which I will get into later. As inheritable, just ignore it. It's not going to come up because you don't run the X antibody option. So, moving on. Galmon. On play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You can add 1 Digimon card with the Galmon in its name and 1 blue Tamer card among them, trashing the rest. A little bit of a risky card, but if you pull, say, a few copies of the Nikolai and a decent amount of Gaiomons, this could actually come up. And searching is always good. And it has a really good inheritable. If you have a Tamer in play, return one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon. I mean, remove it. You can't go wrong with it. Next, I added this Snow Goblinmon. Now, you might be wondering, why is there a vanilla in here? This does nothing. Well, a bunch of colors get this, and sometimes you don't really need an effect in these kind of formats. It's just nice to have a quick body to just play and just build up the field. Some of the best ways to win these pre-release decks is just to drop a bunch of bodies on board. And all the colors have this. Unfortunately, 3 is the lowest cost you'll find in this set. There is no 2 costs, but it's still good. And it has a really high DP at 4K. So you can potentially get over some smaller bodies, and with some boosts, you can even potentially get over some level 4s. So not too bad. Next, moving on to some green rookies, we got the Agumon. So the nice thing about this guy is, on play, reveal top 4, and you can just add any Tamer. Doesn't matter the color, which is quite nice. It can get anything. I mean, I think no matter what, you get this guy, you're gonna play him because it's so versatile what you get. And the inheritable, while you have a Tamer in play, this Digimon gains 2k DP. So extra boost if you have a Tamer. Solid. You can Digivolve over the X antibody Agu like I discussed before. So really nice stuff. Next up, Palon. Just says, start of your turn, draw 1 card. I mean, self-explanatory. More pluses, really good. Next I have here is Biomon. Similar to the Galmon we talked about, just on play, reveal top 3 cards of your deck. You can add a red Digimon vaccine and a red Tamer. So it just helps you get to your pieces. And it's inheritable on deletion. If you have a red Tamer play, gain memory. Might come up. Next is a bit of an iffy one. It's all going to depend on how you want to build, but I have Bearmon. More or less, I have this in. If you have the red Tamer, it is a beast, so it can get that potential rush effect, so this can help you potentially go for game. But its inheritable is quite nice with the new raid mechanic, which I will get to when we get to there. But when the attack target of this Digimon switches, it gains extra 3k DP. So that can help potentially get over some bigger bodies. And this even works with blocking too, which there are a few blockers in this set. So it is quite nice. Next up, I have Kotemon, which is just a blocker. A rookie blocker, and in these formats, it's pretty crucial to stop damage when you can. There's not really many crazy strategies, so just getting that 1 block in can help. I mean, this has a downside where this can't attack a player, so you can't get damage on it by itself, but just having a blocker body is really nice. So that does it for the level 3s that I think are very valuable. Next we got is level 4s. So we're going to start with Jurimon. Now Jurimon is a level 4 that's only a 3 cost to hard play, which means you can turbo out your level 5s very quickly. It does have another added effect where on play, if you trash a Numimon or a Shukamon, which this guy also considers itself a Numimon, so if you have an extra copy, you can just trash it to draw 2 cards. Very specific draw, but it may come up, so worth playing more or less just because it's a very cheap level 4. Next up is the Galgomon. So when attacking, if your opponent has 8 or more cards in hand, you gain a memory. Something that can definitely come up, as we all know, card advantage, it's something that happens all the time in this game. So that one extra memory could just help you secure the game. And it's inheritable when attacking. If you have a tamer play, return level 3. Same as the Gawamon. So removal is always nice. Next up, I have this Higamon. And the reason why I put this guy here is because it's a very cheap cost to Digivolve. It's only of 1 cost. Yes, it's a vanilla, but again, turboing out to get to your big stacks can potentially mean your game. That's your win condition, right? You want to get to your big boss Digimon as soon as possible. And for green, I got this Vegemon here, which I think is really good. He's a 4 cost to hard play, so again, pretty cheap. And starting your main phase, gain 1 memory. That's always good, you know, keeps you from getting choked, helps you be able to build up and be a little more cost efficient. So nice card all around. So moving on to the purples, we have Soulmon. So the reason why I think this is really good is because it has retaliation. This is a pretty good way to get rid of those big bodies and kind of threaten those blockers, right? If they decide to block, well, they're gonna lose this guy, right? Because it is gonna get deleted when this guy gets deleted. And on top of that too, all your Digimon with retaliation get 2k DP. So this guy is coming out at 6k. It's not bad. And the Dark Lizardmon, pretty much the same thing, also has retaliation, but it does the added effect on deletion, you get to draw 1 and trash 1. So more cycling, can't go wrong. For the red side, we have Bergermon. She's a blocker. I mean, self-explanatory, like I said before, blocking's great. On deletion, you can play a red tamer for free. So, again, can potentially come out. It's not bad. Next up, I added the Shokamon here. Again, the reason why, just because it's a cheap card cost. 3 to play is really good for level 4, just to turbo out those big stacks. His effect, literally irrelevant. It'll hardly ever come up. If you pull a bunch of stuff and you want to try to build with it, fine, but I don't think it's a cohesive strategy. So he's just there, just as a quick thing to play. My mistake here. Let me just scroll down. Next, I put the Mamimon here. So the nice thing about him is when you Digivolve, you can reveal top 5 of your stack to add a tamer. No, sorry, not even add, play a tamer. So this could potentially get your tamers out for free. So that really helps. And it has a decent inheritable. When you play another Digimon by an effect, one of your Digimon gains blocker. So this can combo with potentially another card that we'll talk about later. But more or less, the reason why you want this guy is just to get those tamers out for free. Getting them out before your opponent could mean the difference between winning and losing. So decent card there for their level 5s. Next up, we have Mach Galgamon. So when Digivolving, he gets Blocker. Blocker's really good. And gets 2,000 extra DP for every 4 cards in your opponent's hand until the end of your opponent's turn. So potentially, if your opponent's been getting a lot of resources, he can get really big really quick. And again, he has an effect when something gets added to your opponent's hand, and this is all turns, you can unsuspend this Digimon. So if they try to go for a search, this guy gets unsuspended, he can just go ahead and block again. Not too bad. Next guy, I think is going to be an underrated card, and it's going to be under the radar for a lot of people. But I decided to put this Metal Greymon plus Cyber Launcher here. Now, its main effect, you're never going to get off because you're not going to really be playing any of the blue flares, and you're not going to be digicrossing because Metal Greymon isn't in this set. But what's nice about him is he has Armor Purge, which means just playing him out on your stack, it can protect itself. It is a higher cost for a level 4, but you can Digivolve off a level 5 for 2, which is nice, but you know, having that protection for your stack can potentially help you go for game. It can potentially be something where if it gets deleted, then you can just Digivolve on top of another level 5. It's quite nice, and again, because it is a Greymon, it also synergizes with that rookie Black Greymon Agumon that we talked about before, because this can add it to its hand, so it's not bad at all. Next up, we have Digitomon. The reason why I think this is going to be really good is more or less because it's a generic level 5 that has 10k DP. It's really big for a level 5, so this can get over a good chunk of things. So that's the way I put it. And it's also green, so we can use the Taiga that we talked about before to reduce its cost and go into our big boss monsters. So really nice. And then only 2 more for the level 5s. We got our Garudamon blocker. That's the only reason why we would run this, and it has the same on deletion effect as the Birdramon. Might come up, but it's not, it's just a bonus. Next up, we have Grapple-Leomon, which has the brand new effect called Raid. So, what Raid does is, when this Digimon attacks, you can switch the target to one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon with the highest DP. So this is why I talked about the Bearmon earlier, because when you do that, you'll get an extra 3k DP if it's underneath its Digivolution sources, and it becomes a 10k attacker, which can get over pretty much anything underneath the level 5 category. So it's nice as a removal option to be able to get over some of your opponent's stuff, and also kind of put them in a bit of a bind, because they can't just hard play stuff and pass turn and leave things on field, because you can just keep clearing them, right? So it is quite nice. And it has a nice inheritable. When the attack target of this Digimon is switched, you can trash top card of their security. So this pretty much negates the chance of your opponent blocking with this, because if they do, they're just going to lose the security anyways, and this will work well with any other raid effects. So it's quite nice. Now for the big boys, the level 6s. So we're going to start with Mirage Galgamon. So it has the effect, when Digivolving, return one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon to their hand. If no Digimon are returned by this effect, they have to add one of the top cards of their security to their hand. And then it has the effect all turns, once per turn. When an effect adds a card to your opponent's hand, gain 1 memory for every 4 cards in your opponent's hand. So again, great removal, potential to clear securities if they don't have things. Solid boss all around, 12k DP, quite nice. I added Digimon in here as well. This is all going to depend if you get a good ratio of tamers. He has the effect, when Digivolving, you can reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You may play 1 tamer card among them without paying its memory cost, and then place the rest at the bottom of your deck. So again, similar to the Mamimon, just getting more tamers, always great. But then it has this great when attacking effect. So when attacking, for each green and black tamer you have in play, you can reveal the top card of your deck, and then you can play any number of green or black Digimon you reveal up to a play cost of 10. So you can swarm the field potentially. It can come up, right? Just again, like I said, free bodies can be the game changer, because just getting more and more damage, there's not really a whole lot of ways to just clear a blanket board, so it could just potentially blow it a game for you. Next, I added this Titanmon here. He's a little high cost at 4 to Digivolve, but he has piercing, which is nice, but his one Digivolving effect is quite nice. So you can trash up to 3 cards in your hand, and for each card you do so, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Then you gain a memory for each one you've done. So potentially this guy could cost you only 1 if you wanted to, and you can clear out their board, attack, hit in security. It's not bad. Next up, a really big removal Digimon here. We got Bargamon. So he's probably the highest cost I put here at 5, but he has a really strong removal. So if your opponent has 1 or few Digimon in play, you get to trash 1 card in your hand, and you get to look at it too, so it is quite nice. If your opponent has 2 or more in play though, you can take one of those Digimon and put it underneath their evolution sources. So that is insane removal right there. And then once per turn, when a Digimon digivolves, or when a card effect makes the Digimon digivolve, by trashing 1 card in this card's Digivolution card, you get to trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. So that can also potentially punish your opponent when digivolving. This card's just really good as a removal option, and I think it can potentially be worth a slot. It is a super rare, so potentially it's a little harder to pull, but if you get it, definitely worth running in your pre-release deck. Next up, I put Phoenixmon in here. So Phoenixmon has the effect of when a card is removed from your opponent's security stack, you get to activate one of this card's on deletion effects. And its own on deletion effect is you may play one red Digimon with bird, avian, beast, force sovereign, or animal in one of its traits at 3k DP in play, and you add 2k DP more maximum if you have a red tamer in play. So potentially you can play out another small body. It can synergize with some of the other small red guys. But the nice thing too about this too is it just activates any of its on deletion effects. So this can also be the inheritables. And because colors don't matter, this can work in a variety of things. Again, it is a super rare, so it might be a little hard to see, but it's not too bad. Next up, Marsmon. Marsmon is just great. He has Raid, so he's able to attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. He has Blitz, so passing over the memory doesn't matter. Then he has the added bonus of once per turn, when the attack target of a Digimon is switched, you can unsuspend this Digimon and gain 1 memory if you have a tamer in play. So potentially extra damage with this guy. Really nice boss to go into. And lastly, for the level 6s, in case you didn't pull any of the super rares, this guy's a little easier to get. He is an uncommon. So we have Clavis Angemon. So he has the effect of when digivolving, if you have 5 or fewer securities, recover 1. Always good. And then opponent's turn, when a card is removed from the security stack, one of their Digimon gets minus 4k DP. So potential removal, and again, punishing your opponent if they try to get a little bit ahead of themselves and clear too many securities. So not bad. Finally, we have the option cards. So options, I wouldn't worry too much about because chances are they're a little harder to get off. So it's something that you want to have, but don't be too crazy when it comes to wanting to add these into your deck. So starting off, we have Ice Statue. So if you have a blue tamer in play, you can reduce it by 1, so I can make it a little cheaper. But you can trash the top 3 Digivolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon, then return one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolutions to the owner's hand. Removal. It's not bad. Next, we have Poison Powder. So same idea as the reduction cost of Ice Statue, but for green tamer, so you can make it a 2 cost. And this has the effect of all your opponent's Digimon gain all turns. When this Digimon becomes suspended, lose 1 memory. Literally Ice Wall. I don't think I need to say anything more. This can potentially help you stay alive in the game. It's quite nice. Next up, this red option is probably the best form removal you can get. So the effect is you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 8,000 DP or less. Then, if you have a red tamer in play, activate one of the on deletion effects of your opponent's Digimon. So pretty much anything that isn't level 5, sorry, everything that's level 5 or lower, this hits because nothing is above 8k except for the Digitama. So great option removal to get those low ends there. Potentially can be a great security bomb. It's a good card. And then lastly, I added Megilao Spark. It is yellow, so it's a little harder to get to, but potentially you can get this off. So if you would use this card, if you have a yellow tamer in play, you reduce it by 1. Chances are you're not unless you pull the Mirror Eye, but even if you did, I can't see that card being something you'd want to run because it is such a high cost. But main, one of your opponent's Digimon gains minus 8k DP. Basically the same thing as Crimson Flare. The only difference is DP reduction is obviously a better form of removal. If they are playing the Metal Greymon, you can potentially delete it and bypass the armor purge. And again, really great security button. But that is the 37 cards I decided to pick out of this. But at the end of the day, the best thing about pre-release is experimentation, right? See what you have, play around. Maybe you can find some more combos that maybe I missed or some good cards there. But either which way, I think it's safe to say, and I think I speak for everyone to say, I'm extremely excited for pre-release this weekend, and I hope all you are too. So thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, spread the good word by sharing the video, and most importantly, subscribe. Till next time.